Welcome back, y'all, to another episode 66 of the Spittin Hoops podcast. And we're back after a little break. Actually, not that much of a break. I feel like we did a pod like 2 weeks ago. Obviously, we like being a weekly pod, and we had a lot of stuff going on in the NBA since the last time we saw you guys, whether that's the in-season tournament, whether that's the Christmas Day games, but more importantly, it's the holidays, spending time with the family, and we're having fun. Anthony, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. This feels like a bit of a flu game for me. I had COVID on Christmas, which forced me to lay on the couch like this and watch nothing but Christmas Day games until I was too tired and could not watch the final one. So very appreciative of that. So yeah, it's been great.
That's great, bro. I honestly feel that I'm back in California actually, so not too far from the hometown of the Golden State Warriors, which is obviously
Sure.
why big fan. Um, so yeah, honestly feel that. Glad that you're not feeling sick though, honestly.
Yeah, much better. Well, I mean, for our listeners, Max is going to a pretty special game coming up. Max, you want
Yeah.
to preview on that?
Yeah, I'm gonna be at Suns Warriors tomorrow. So any of our 71 subscribers, if you're gonna be there too, reach out. Um, we'll do a meet and greet. Um,
Sick. Jersey swap.
Yeah, we'll do a jersey swap.
Yeah.
Although I'm keeping my Steph jersey, obviously. But yeah, no, I'm pretty excited. Honestly, I've never been to Chase. I guess we can do we might do a little combo about stadiums at the end of this, but I've never been to Chase Center, and I'm pretty excited. The last time I was at a Warriors game in the Bay, obviously I've been to Warriors games in DC, but last time I was in the Warriors game in the Bay was Game 6 of the Western Conference Finals in 2018, right? So it's or 2017, whichever one. So like pretty hard to beat that, and so I've been kind of like missing against the Rockets. That was the game against the Rockets where Chris Paul was hurt. It's pretty hard to beat that. So obviously, not anticipating that I'm going to beat that, but I think Suns Warriors is going to be pretty nice. No Jimmy, not going to be a Jimmy Butler debut game, but I can stay hopeful.
Well, I mean, did you see the tweet from the Heat about how they were
Yeah,
going to trade
that
him?
hurt. That hurt, bro. That cut deep. That cut deep.
I mean, at least this season, right? Because next year is an opt-in season
Yeah,
for
so
him.
they'll do like the Porzingis thing. Do like if they do end up trading him, it'll end up being like the opt-in trade. Do you remember when Porzingis opted in and then he like opt-in, extended, and traded? Do you
Hmm.
remember that? To y'all, actually.
Right.
So that'll be interesting. Obviously, that was quirky. You don't usually see teams tweet statements.
Yeah.
It almost made me feel like they're more sus.
I mean,
Like don't get me wrong, like I to be honest, I'd be surprised if they traded him now, but like it almost made me more sus of them trading him maybe.
I mean, think about back in, was it 2015 or 2016 when they wouldn't pay D Wade?
Hmm.
And there was that whole situation too. So I don't know. Very, very interesting.
Yeah, that's some kind of like I feel like y'all might be bluffing. I think you guys might want Brandon Pajemski. Like I don't know.
Oh man, all that he want for Christmas.
Yeah.
I mean,
Uh,
for as a Celtics fan's sake, I really hope the Golden State Warriors do not get Jimmy Butler. That's a nightmare scenario for any Celtics fan. That just probably the two franchises that have terrorized us the most on important stages the last few seasons. So no, no, thank you.
Hey man, it's not like we're getting out of the West anyways. So I appreciate the worry, but but well, I can dream at least. But with
Uh,
that, that's enough speculative talk. Um, we're just gonna get right into the NBA Cup. I keep calling it the
yeah.
in-season tournament. NBA Cup. Come on, Emirates. Shout out. Bucks, they obviously beat the Thunder in the finals, 97-81. Just we're gonna talk about the game first. There's obviously the all in-season tournament team, which was Giannis, Şengün, and Shea, Damian Lillard, and Trae Young, NBA Cup MVP, Giannis. But the game itself, really great game in my opinion. Bucks started running away in the third quarter, kind of as the OKC offense sputtered, and OKC looked really like offensively challenged throughout the whole game. They get 31 total points. OKC does in the second half alone, and it's not a great Shea game, not a great J-Dub game, but they really, I mean, outside of J-Dub, iHeart, and Shea, the Thunder scored 26 total points. So this has honestly been a worry of mine with the Thunder. I think that's their one roadblock to being a really big contender is like, can you put up 130? You know? I'm not saying you have to do that against every team, but seeing this in the NBA Cup Finals definitely worried me a little bit. I'm not freaking out about the Thunder, but it definitely worried me a little. But on the other hand, fantastic Dame and Giannis games. The rest of the Bucks aren't particularly good, but you get double digits from Gary Trent, double digits from Brook Lopez, and that's the blueprint to win the game. Also incredible defense by the Bucks, in my opinion. Um, just a great game. Honestly, really, really great game. Watching Dame and Giannis in the single game format over the last few months has been honestly a privilege. Like they are. I love the in-season tournament, bro. I know everyone wants to slander it, and I know Bill Simmons wants to fix it every 2 weeks. I think it's great. I thought it was awesome this year.
Yeah, yeah, man. I thought it was really good. Seems like one of those things where there just needs to be more legacy behind it before we're able to start appreciating it more. All these things take time. How long did it take for the 3-point line to be embraced in the NBA fully in
Yeah,
terms of
30
spirit?
years
30 years and then
minimum.
capitalized like
Yeah.
so cool that also really cool that the first two MVPs have been LeBron and Giannis.
Hmm.
So that's like a
Helps
great
it.
start to the legacy. Exactly. There's no, Trey Young or Siakam or Halliburton or like, a player that had a couple all-star appearances and that was
And it's
about it.
also it hasn't even been like it's not like McCall Bridges had a 40 pointer in the NBA Cup Finals. It's
Right.
like, it's Giannis, it's LeBron. So it's honestly that's also been good. It's because there's like for the NBA Cup sake, it's not like John Hickman got a 45 pointer in the finals and then now he's the finals
Right.
MVP and you're like, oh man. Um yeah, I totally agree. I thought it was great. I thought it was a really good, especially the finals. I mean, the finals last year, the finals this year have been really good games,
Mhm.
intense. These are playoff quality games in December. Like these games did not exist 2 years ago, so pretty thoroughly impressed. Also, yeah, I just want to talk about Dame again. I've been a Dame hater in the past, and I can't say that I'm super high on Dame generally, but this sort of format, this sort of tournament just makes me appreciate him so much. I mean, he's a get up, like he's gonna get up and shoot 15 threes no matter what, and eight are gonna go in or six are gonna go in. And he doesn't care. And I actually really respect that. And even defensively, like he wasn't costing on defense at all. And that's kind of what the Bucks need from him. And I was really impressed. Really, really impressed, to be honest.
Yeah, to your point, it was a really fun game for most of it until like the early mid third quarter, and you kept kind of thinking, oh, the Thunder going to make a run.
Mhm.
Uh, but the best player in the league was the best player. Well, one of the best players in the league was played like the best player in the league. So, great game. Yeah, I love your points about the format. It is very exciting. You have opening night and all the buzz for the NBA season, and then kind of hit a lull. And then now we have the in-season tournament, Emirates Cup, NBA Cup, whatever we want to call it.
Mhm.
And you get Christmas. Then there's a bit of a lull. Now we're entering this lull again. We'll have the All-Star game. We'll see. We'll plenty of time to talk about that. I'm sure we'll have our All-Star rosters being filled out soon enough, and then you get that. So it's a helpful way to kind of pace out this season.
Totally agree. Totally agree. Any long-term thoughts about like the NBA Cup teams, like, or not even not long-term thoughts, like either this
Yeah.
season, like first of all, I thought the selections were really good. I actually don't disagree with any of the selections. But
S- Selections.
the for the All NBA Cup team.
Yeah. I thought they were. I mean, Giannis makes sense. Shea makes sense. Dame makes sense. And then
Şengün
you
went
award
crazy.
the last. Şengün is an amazing player, right? And Trey, you award the cups to the guys that were in the semifinals. So yeah, I thought that was fine. Honestly, no big qualms with it yet.
Kind of with it.
Uh,
I hope Basketball Reference honestly includes it on their page. To be honest, be kind of nice. You know how they have like the awards on the right side of the column.
right. Yeah, I'm sure they will.
I'm
Right? They have.
let's just add it. Let's just add it. Like let's pretend like it's legit, and then like if it's not, let's adjust. But like for now, I'm kind of with it. I don't know if you saw this thing. It was a multiplier of how much this bonus would add to each player's salary, and it's basically
Oh, wow.
for nine of the 15 players on the Bucks. This is over basically a 50% bonus compared to their average salary. You
Yeah,
know,
dude. So
because if you're a
cool.
minimum player, if you're making a mill, you get this 500K bonus. I mean, it's a big deal, man. And
Mhm.
Dame actually was respect to Dame. That was like one of the first things he said. after the tournament. He was like, I want to win for our guys, and like, because Dame, like, that is 1% of like that bonus is 1% of his salary,
Yeah. Right.
but they get up for those games, and I respect that. I really respect it. I think there needs to be a conversation about it not being in Vegas, but I don't know.
Maybe it's a good preview to where the new franchise is going to be. Maybe there could be different cities, much
Mhm.
like the All-Star game. Maybe it could be different cities that don't have an NBA franchise that get to see it. They get
That
to
would be
experience
fun.
each
That
year.
would be
You get
really
like a
fun.
Mexico City, a Vancouver. Yeah, that'd be something.
That's a really great idea. You just each year you do it in a city that doesn't have an NBA team.
Right.
That's a really great idea.
Yeah.
London.
Right. Oh, Lord, that'd be sweet.
That is
Uh,
a really great idea. And that's the sort of places that like those, they're used to the soccer format. They're used to rooting for one-off tournaments.
right.
Like, so I'm with
Right.
that. I'm really with that idea. That's a great idea. That's like probably one of the better ideas I've heard for the location. Because like also a team
Mhm.
hosting it is like cool and all, but
Right.
I feel like we can get a little bit more original than that, especially for a game that's not technically on the schedule.
Can you imagine like Lagos, Nigeria?
That would be crazy. That would be
Like
insane.
huge market, just massive for the brand. Go to Beijing,
Yeah.
Shanghai, like
I mean, even yeah, Shanghai, even if you want to go to like Johannesburg in South Africa, like
right. That'd be sick.
I mean, really, like what the issue is once you do start doing that, what's going to end up happening? It's going to be in Abu Dhabi in year one.
It is the
That's
Emirates Cup, so
yeah, and they're like the NBA is going to get $3 billion from a sovereign wealth fund, and
right,
that's the other side of it. I also think the NBA sees the vision, and I don't think they would auto assign based off of a money bid,
right. Hopefully not.
but yeah.
Um, I'm curious actually. Now that we're on this thought, any any other incentives that you could see from this Emirates Cup in terms of playoffs, anything like that? Like one idea that I've always had is maybe award not only because to your point, this does help the majority of the players in each roster. However, there's on net an inverse correlation between who's being helped the most financially and their impact on the team actually winning the game. Obviously, there's going to be exceptions to the rule on rookie contracts and what have you. Um, Something I've always thought might be cool, or at least in the last two seasons, would be give the team that wins give them a regular season win and do not penalize the team that loses with that loss.
100% with that. Totally
Little
with
things
that.
like that. But
I think the whole knockout tournament should be like that. I think the whole
that'd be
knockout
cool.
stages. I don't even think if you lose any of the knockout games, I don't think you should be penalized. I think that would be the best format. It should just be bonus games and like, but the NBA doesn't want to mismatch standings. That's the issue. I don't think. I think they want their standings to be like legible.
Yeah. I
Because
mean,
that's the thing. At the end of the season, you're gonna have mismatch standings. I don't care personally. I think you should still do it. But
win percentage is win percentage. Like,
yeah, I tend to agree, honestly. I don't know. I would go with that. I think wins assigning like if you're in a knockout stage and you win a game, you should not be penalized if you lose a
right.
game, but you should get the win. And I think you should get the first pick after the draft, like after the
Oh
lottery,
yeah.
and it becomes instantly tradable. Um, because that's the thing. It can't be a lottery pick because you'd have to wait till the lottery, and that'd be weird.
Right.
But make it
Right.
the first pick right after the lottery.
Yeah.
And I think a really good time to actually start that would be whenever we do expansion, because the expansion teams will get the fifth and sixth pick. Our first round is going to go from obviously 30 teams to 32 teams. You add the
Mhm.
16th pick, then you have a 33 player first round. I don't know. I'm kind of with it. Obviously, gonna have two more teams full of roster spots, so I think that'd be a really good time to start it, honestly. Because the one issue is like right now, dude, you have first rounders who can't get minutes. So like, if adding another first round pick, I don't know if helps that situation, but I don't know.
Right.
I
Yeah.
think it would be good. Like LeBron is going 110% if he has the 15th overall pick as winning,
Right.
because the Lakers are instantly trading it.
Right. Yeah. He'd see that vision. Yeah.
And you get Dennis Schroeder, like or you like someone better actually, because Dennis Schroeder just went for a bunch of seconds. So
Right. Huh. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of my ideas. But honestly, I'm not too pressed. I think overall, for me, this NBA Cup, 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10,
Yeah. It was good.
and that's good. I'm with that. There been recent NBA finals I felt worse about, right? So
Right. Yeah. The only way that would have made this better is not being a blowout at the end. But other than that.
And
It was
honestly,
good.
for a game that was a blowout, it was still like very like it was intense because yeah, OKC was like within 15. Like it's not like OKC was out like down 25.
Right.
And OKC was D'ing up. I mean, that's the thing. OKC couldn't score at all, but their defense was keeping them in the game.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Right.
with that, that's enough in
Yeah.
season tournament talk. Obviously, that was a few weeks back, but we wanted to close the loop on that. Do you want
Yes,
to take us
sir.
away for the Christmas Day games? Obviously, you were
Yeah.
stuck in bed all day, so you got to watch a lot of them. I got to watch all of them except for the Suns game, actually. I had to watch it back later, but yeah.
Yeah. So the perspective on that might be a bit weaker, but unlike the in-season final, all of these games were fantastically close. The furthest game was the Nuggets Suns game, which was still in relative question for the majority of it. But a lot of these games were super close. A lot of crazy ins and outs. Obviously, starting with the Knicks and the Spurs. Do you want to go about this game by game or overview of the game and then some general highlights?
Yeah, let's go by game, honestly. I feel like each
Yeah.
game was pretty big.
So I mean, so Knicks Spurs was pretty intense. Just a wild back and forth game. I think the we all were wondering what Wemby was going to do, and he immediately started playing out of his mind. This was an extremely back and forth game. Um, and for a bit, it did look like the Spurs had a shot to close it out. But Mikal Bridges was absolutely unbelievable. I mean, his 3-point shot was crazy. Josh Hart was playing out of his mind. This was a great game to kick off the Christmas slate.
Totally agree. This was a spectacular game. Honestly, on the heels, it felt like kind of an important game for the NBA. Like on the heels of all this discussion of the ratings, and you kind of get Christmas, and that's the NBA's day, but the NFL is creeping up on Christmas too.
Right.
Um, and we got a terrific game. This was a sensational basketball game. You got Wemby just pulling from wherever. He obviously goes 6 for 16 from three. It didn't feel like that. Um, I don't know. He only misses 5 shots from the field that aren't threes and has 18 rebounds and 5 stocks on top of that, right? So you have Wemby on that side doing that. And then the other side, just casual, Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, and McCall combining for 80. So honestly, great game. I thought this was a sensational game. I was really impressed with both teams all around. It made me think higher of both of them, which is like I'm kind of like a hot like not a hot takes person, but like sometimes I can be caught up in the moment. But I watched this game and I was like, dang, both of these teams are extremely good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this left me feeling for the Knicks as though they have more metal than I thought they might. Uh, Thinking especially about Wemby is the front runner for Depoy. I haven't looked at Vegas. That's just my assumption right now. And Cat in that blow by where he just dunks all over him, like that was filthy. Absolutely love.
McCall blew by him a few times too. I was impressed with
Right,
McCall with that.
right. So it was just a great game. They responded each time, and then for the Spurs. I mean, hey, they are definitely in that playing category. And it just shows how freaking good this team can be. So to your point, like this is one of those games where instead of both teams being like, like one of them had to win, it was like, dang, like it's a shame one of them had to lose.
Yeah, yeah, honestly, I was watching this game. This Spurs team is just not a 15 and 15 team. They're mild. Like we'll get to some of the games later. They're better than other teams in the West with better records than them who played on the same day. I was thoroughly impressed with them. I mean, I guess I'll get into it now. I really am impressed with Sochan. I'm really impressed with CP3, and they have just a combo of wings. I know we roast Harrison Barnes sometimes because he's an old head, and Keldon
Mhm.
Johnson isn't amazing, and Devin Vassell is getting paid 30 million a year, and I like Devin Vassell, but that's 30 million a year for Devin Vassell.
Yeah.
But all that together, they looked really good. Chris Paul is playing point for 30 minutes. Stephon Castle's playing point for the other 20. So you got that position covered. The 2 to 4 covered by just a depth of wings. And then you got Wemby just rocking out. And they're really good. And Jeremy Sochan specifically, I'm incredibly impressed with him over the last like month or so of basketball. But that
Mhm.
Knicks game really sealed it for me in some ways. Like I see the ceiling. I see the ceiling of Sochan. I think he could be a third best player on a championship team. at some point down the line. He really reminds me of Sean Marion. Um, but he does so much on the court. He is like the point guard experiment of him last year obviously didn't work, but it gave him like these skills that I think like he's really creative. You know, he's not a 3-and-D power forward, and he's also not like a banging it down low power forward, but he's kind of like this finesse. I can average 9 rebounds a game. I can score 16 from the field, and I can kind of shoot the three, even though my 3-pointer looks terrible. You know, so thoroughly impressed with Jeremy Sochan, frankly. I can't talk enough about him. I mean, he's 3 for 3 on Christmas Day, right? So from three.
Yeah.
So
Right. And if he can find his shot more consistently, shooting 27% from three this season,
I mean, the
that's
shot looks busted. Don't get me wrong.
shot.
Visually, the shot looks busted. But like, I kind of feel like he's not a 30. I think he'll be better than 30% 3-point shooter down the line.
Yeah, I mean that's not his game, and we're seeing all these different guys that are able to figure out ways to stay relevant in a league where 3-point shooting is a premium, and that's not their skill set. So, absolutely, yeah, great.
It's kind
Uh,
of the Wemby thing. It's like almost Wemby allows you to not have to shoot the ball that much, like three that much, because he can just stand at 3-point line and you gotta cover him, which is crazy because he's 7'4".
yeah, so hard. This fucking sucks, actually.
Oh yeah, that meme. That was yeah, I've been sharing that meme a lot. The everyone in the NBA being like, "Oh wait, actually Wemby, I don't like watching a 7'4" person shoot 16 threes a game." I do.
And that is also, this is not a take that's saying Max likes apples and hates oranges. If we see a Wemby game like in the playoffs or something where he's just going to work in the post against some center
I'm hyped
and
too.
going nuts in like LaMarcus Aldridge style, that's also fantastic because then he can just drag them out of the paint. And once they're in foul trouble too, start bombing from three. Um, so
Then you're unstoppable, and then he's literally unstoppable. I mean,
like,
yeah, I love it. I actually like, and it's also like visually, it's absurd because I think it's going in every time. I've never thought that a 7 foot. He's pulling from like 3 feet behind the line,
yeah,
and
it's
I'm just like, oh, I feel like it's going in,
it
and it's
is.
like 6 for 16 from three. I literally had no idea until I checked just now.
Um,
Um,
yeah, so crazy. Um,
last
yeah,
thing on the Knicks, really quick.
yeah.
I they're running like this 8-man rotation. It's really a
Mhm.
7-man rotation because they're only just playing Precious and uh Miles McBride.
Right.
Don't love the depth. I really feel like they'll make a trade. But even with the 7-man lineup, I think they could be really good in the playoffs. Like I
Mm.
think they could be a very, very good team. I think they're probably the second best. Ah, Cavaliers are still really good. They're yeah, they're probably the second best team in the East though, I think right now. Them or the Cavs in a playoff circumstance.
I'm struggling to label the East at the moment. There's just so much going on,
Yeah, I
but
think
they
it's Magic too. Magic's got it. Magic got injuries.
the magic of injuries.
And I
The
think they're
Bucks
so good.
way. We're about to talk about the Sixers in a few. Cavs are, who knows if they're like a regular season giant or not, but they could definitely benefit from the depth, especially considering last season being injured and not having enough bodies.
Yeah,
Um,
100%. But I do think though, like this, if they do trot in, if they're healthy and they trot into the playoffs with the 7-man lineup, it's gonna be tough for me to pick against them. I don't know.
oh, totally. And they've been very consistent this
Very,
whole
very
season.
consistent. And they're getting better. And that's like something I'm impressed with. Like yeah, I mean Tibbs, for all the faults that I give him for trotting out his players for 40 minutes a game, I mean he's doing it again and kind of working.
I mean, Cat in the month of December rebounds has averaged 15 and a half rebounds. At one point he was averaging 18 rebounds per game. He's cooled off to because he had a 10, 10 and 9, 10, 10 and 9 rebounds in his last three. But before that, he was averaging 18 rebounds a game this month.
That's crazy.
So, and he's shooting 45% from three. So,
Um,
even more.
Josh Hart really quick.
Yeah.
50 is 60% from the field, sorry, 14 points per game. Uh he's kind of ridiculous. He's never had a stretch this good. This is just by far his best NBA season. He's doing 14, 8, and 5. He's shooting 40% from three, and he's shooting 60% from the field. So like we'll get to this later, but this mold of player who can't really shoot. And first of all, I'm saying he can't really shoot. He's shooting 40% from three. But going into the season, we're like, oh, Josh Hart can't really shoot, but he can do everything
Right.
else. Um, he's incredibly impactful. He's way
Yeah.
more impactful than I ever thought he could be as a player because his rebounding rate is so absurd. I mean, we've known he's been a crazy good rebounder for a guard for a long time. I mean, even
Right.
back in Portland, he had multiple seasons like 8 rebounds a game.
Mhm.
But this is like a new level because it's like it's the 5 assists, it's the 8 rebounds, it's the 14 points on efficient shooting. In Portland, he was doing stuff like that on 30% from three shooting and less points and less rebounds, like slightly. This year, this is like if you had taken his best season, the best
Yeah.
attribute he's had in every best season and put them together for a player like in one season, it's Josh Hart right now. It's like really incredible. Um,
Yeah. It's
perfect
unbelievable.
situation.
Yeah. Um, you don't want to see him in the playoffs. I mean, he's the definition of second chance points created. Like I don't know where that stat is that might show that. I'm sure somebody's collected second chance points created via offensive rebounds and hustle plays, but he's got to be up there on the leaderboards. And it feels like in crunch time, if somebody's jacking up a three on the Knicks, look for Josh Hart because he's gonna be in that fray getting that rebound.
Totally agree.
Um,
Totally
so
agree.
um, all right. Shall we move on to the next game?
Yeah, let's get to
Um,
it.
so in a trade, but moving on to the team that traded a lot of these players around, the Timberwolves held off the Mavericks after almost blowing a 28-point lead. At one point, it was a one possession game. I forget if they were only by three or by one at that point. Um, but Luka gets hurt in the second quarter, and Kyrie comes alive and just completely takes over in the second half. And Anthony Edwards has a couple of great shots. One sort of like a running bank shot off from the right side, and then finishes with a tough lefty lay. Could have been fouled and sends the Mavericks home. So Ant Edwards gets his first Christmas Day win, and overall another very fun game that looked like this was going to be a snooze fest.
Yeah, I mean, the Luca injury was like so quirky for the game because almost like I feel like the Mavericks start off so slow, and this is a common topic with the Mavericks this season. They cannot have a good first quarter like in any game. But Luca going out and them having to also almost like lean on Kyrie for big stretches, I feel like it almost like locked them in for a little bit. I don't know if that makes any sense. Um, and maybe I don't want to overreact, but maybe that's like it has to be some sort of knock on Luca, when he's got the ball so much. I feel like some of their role players might go a little colder when he's out there versus not.
Mhm.
Still the second best player or third best player in the league, in my opinion.
Right.
Um, but this game was like pretty terrific, I think overall. It showed me a lot of the issues with both teams, showed me a lot of positives with both teams. It was definitely not a game where I left feeling the same way as like the Knicks Spurs game, where like you guys are both better than I thought.
Right.
But it kind of just reinforced. Like I don't know, I didn't learn too much, but it was a great game. Julius Randle is going to score double digits. He has the most straight double-digit games to start off a career for a T-Wolf ever, which is kind of
So,
funny. Great stat because it has not felt that way. So like it's just kind of reinforced what I thought. If anything, this game was more of like an Ant Edwards. I was like, what do you got for me? And
mhm.
he wasn't super efficient and he was great. So I was with it.
Yeah. This is one of the games where I was drifting in and out of sleep due to my COVID sickness in the first half, where they built up that lead. But going back, from what I understand, a big part of it was the Timberwolves' just defensive energy and just playing so free and fun. Um, so I think that was something that we talk about that iconic game against Denver, game three, I believe, that put them up 2-1, or maybe that game two would put them up 2-0, where they had like a historic defensive effort. Makes you makes a Timberwolves fan miss Cat if they didn't miss him already enough. But played super, super well. For the Mavs, this does ring true a little bit about last year when Luka got hurt and they did go on a run with Kyrie as their primary guy, and then they kind of figured out how to play basketball without Luka there. And then
And
once
then
Luka
Luka came back.
and just filled in, and they went
Hmm.
well, even though he was injured, and then we got to the finals and we saw what happened. Um, But that felt like that was the motif of the end of last season with this Mavericks win. Definitely need to find a third offensive option. Just with Clay, I don't know. I don't know what you see. He did hit some threes. Is he the guy? Is PJ Washington the guy? He's very up and down. He had 7 points in this game. Is Quentin Grimes the guy? It's tough to find who that third guy is. Najee Marshall, that guy who was playing really well when Luka was hurt. So got to figure out where that offensive production is going to come from.
Yeah, I think they could piece it together, whether that's like, I think it'll be on game by game basis. They're gonna go
Yeah.
with like hot hands. Is like, is Jaden Harden giving me 10 today? And
Right.
maybe not. Is Kyrie giving me 35 today versus 25 usually gives? I don't know. But I kind of agree. I think it might be a blessing in disguise. The thing is, they'll definitely. I mean, I will say, I think they were already good. I think they were already a very, very good team. I think they were playing extremely well. I think they had some unlucky losses. They can't get the hot starts, but I think like playing wise, I think they're extremely good. I mean, they're 19-10 going into Christmas, right?
Yep.
Um, so I actually was like, I don't know. I hear like how last year, obviously they did kind of figure it out without Luca, but I kind of think they had it figured out a little bit. So I'm a little bit worried about this Luca injury.
Oh,
Um,
sure.
but it'll be fine. I mean, they're too good to. They're not going to go under 500 during a stretch. Like they're a very good team.
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, he's supposed to be out for at least a month, according to Shams. So
I mean,
what's that, 12 games in a month typically? 10?
yeah, something like
10?
that. I mean, I think like obviously I didn't look at their schedule, so like bear with me. I mean, if they play the
Sure.
Celtics two times in that stretch, like yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
they might lose a little bit more, but I'd generally be surprised like in a vacuum if they were under 500 team during the stretch. Like they're good. They're very good.
Right. And the Steelers
Um,
are close. Yeah.
can I overreact my Ant Edwards?
Yeah.
We'll get to this later. I think he's a top 10 player. After I watched, I think the T-Wolves are terrible. I think the more and more I watch the T-Wolves, the more I'm talking myself into the fact that I don't really think the rest of the team is very good. I think Jaden McDaniels is just for a year and a half, he's been a little off. Even though last year, like, he was good in stretches and in the playoffs he wasn't great and even now he's not amazing. Just he's not passing my eye test. Rudy Gobert is not passing my eye test. Naz Reid is good,
Oh,
obviously, but like I don't
it's
know.
some.
There's something off with the team. I watch the games. Naz Reid isn't Naz Reid. Julius Randle isn't Julius Randle. Even Gobert isn't Gobert. As much as I like to, you know, talk trash about Gobert. And I really think Ant is like a top 10 player in the league. Because he has no spacing. He has no shot creation next to him. Julius Randle's like in theory should be a shot creator, but a lot of times he's actually mucking up the offense. Mike Conley isn't a shot creator at this point in his career. I mean, Klay Thompson's standing in the paint while he's guarding Mike Conley because he knows he can close out on Mike Conley that fast. Um, so I don't know. I don't know. I really think Edwards is incredible. I think I've been thinking this for a while, and I'm ready to say it, especially with the 3-point shooting rates. I think Ant Edwards on just like yeah, like this is ridiculous. Like he's still shooting 42% from three on 10 threes a game. So
Right. Yeah. Um, I mean, top 10 player.
I think so. That's where I'm gonna put him. And I'll this will be one of my big three things, so we can circle back to this too. But
Mhm.
I think he's a top 10 player for me. And he's actually vaulting other guys who haven't done anything wrong, but I think Andrew Edwards has just shown me so much.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to revisiting that.
Yeah, we'll revisit. You want to move on to the next game?
Let's do it. Um, I'll I'll broadcast this one as an NBA fan first. The 76ers, the 76ers come into Boston and gift the Celtics an L. Shout out to their Twitter account,
Yeah.
X account, sorry. A pretty wild game, where they both created and then lost double-digit leads twice throughout this game. So in that respect, definitely shows some of the concerns that the Sixers are going to have and some of the defensive or some of the metal that the Celtics still show. I'm not sure who this was more about, the Sixers or the Celtics. I haven't even got to the final score yet, but the Sixers end up beating the Celtics 118 to 114, hold off a couple of late flurries from the Celtics. Tyrese Maxey appeared to be the best player on the court for the majority of the game with 33 and 12. Tatum had 32 and 15. Was it the loudest 32 and 15? It definitely helped in certain ways. But this was a really interesting game. In the sixth game where the Sixers' supposed big three were together, which was exciting to see. I mean, they shot 17 of 40 from the 3-point line. So even though the Celtics shot 20 of 49, so both teams shot pretty well from three. Pretty exciting game. As a basketball fan, I loved this game. Super exciting. What were some of your takeaways?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, in general, this kind of reinforces my thoughts about the Sixers in terms of like I'm not sure what their ceiling is, but they have to be pretty good with Embiid and Maxey. Um, I'm really worried about Paul George. I'm gonna be honest, starting to get pretty worried. This is not the Paul George of last year that I put in all NBA team. Um, but Caleb Martin goes 8 for 11 and he's gonna win you the game, right? So I know that gave you a little PTSD.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
but yeah, honestly, I didn't have too many takeaways of this game. This was a good game to see from the Sixers, though. This was a game where I kind of expected them to roll over a little bit. Obviously, they get up for games against the Celtics, but Maxey played incredibly well. Embiid played, and so I guess that's all you can ask for in a Sixers season that has been absolutely terrible. Celtics, I don't have too many major takeaways about the Celtics, frankly. Obviously, Drew Holiday late scratch, so.
Yeah, I'm right. And Kristaps out for the majority of the game.
Mhm.
That being said, obviously we'd not see we did. Why am I blanking on his name? The amazing rookie TikTok guy, Jared McCain.
McCain, he's out for the year though. At some point, like they just try to take down the show.
That is fair, but just like sad to not have him there. So that'll
Oh,
be exciting.
100%. Yeah, I was definitely watching that game, wishing he was out there, like actively.
That would have created some more issues, right? I mean, you replace him. Reggie Jackson is his replacement, in that slot potentially. So what is he able to do? Um, yeah, I mean the bench though overall looked pretty strong. No Eric Gordon, obviously, no Andre Drummond, but Yabusele played really well. Caleb Martin tore
He's
my heart
great.
out.
Yabusele is really good.
Yabusele is so good. I mean, he was great with he's fun with the Celtics.
He was
Now he's
fun.
not there.
Yeah, that's the thing. He was like an energy player with the Celtics, and now
Yeah,
he's still an energy player, but he's a role player. Like this is, I mean, they just got him off the boat from the EuroLeague, right?
right,
Like literally this summer. So like pretty impressive that like off the bat, like this is clearly an NBA player.
right. So obviously, just the bench looked good. All the bench guys were more than plus double digits. Ironically, Embiid had the worst plus minus of any player in this entire game at minus 18. So definitely got to see how he's going to continue to develop because this time last year he was playing like one of the best players I've ever seen, um, and now he is not. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
this time this year they're 11 and 17. Yeah.
And this time the league moves quickly.
Yeah.
So um, can he come back from that? They are 7-3 in their last 10. A lot of those have been against kind of mid teams, but um, I do think that this team can definitely work their way back towards 500. Absolutely.
And it's honestly that might be all they need. I mean, right now the Heat are 15 and 13,
Yeah.
and they are sixth. So the Sixers are 4 games back of that. God, must be nice to play in the East. Although in the West, that
Yeah.
little stretch in the West is very tight too. Um, so yeah, actually, I mean, funnily enough, the Sixers are probably going to end up as a non-playing team. Now that I'm looking at the standings, I mean, they're going to have to play well, but 4 games back.
Oh, well, only half a game back of the Bulls or
Oh
13
yeah,
games.
I meant like a non-play-in, like
Oh,
top six.
non-play. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which
Maybe
I
they could.
didn't, which I didn't think they would.
Yeah. Right. I, I think that they could. I think that they could creep up, but who's
Yeah,
who's going to come down from that top six is the question, or
Miami.
even top seven with Atlanta, right? Um, so
I mean, Miami's the obvious pick. I can't see any of the other top five dropping, so.
No,
But
for sure.
Miami might
No,
not drop either. I mean, especially now that they've allegedly figured out their Jimmy Butler sitch.
yeah. But Maxey looks amazing as well. So it's exciting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jimmy Butler. I heard Jimmy Butler and immediately like just slightly dissociated. So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah,
uh,
that with that, to a game that
there.
do you have anything else on this game?
No, no, no. Yeah, let's rip
We
this
can,
next game.
yeah, let's talk about another game I dissociated from. Lakers obviously beat my Warriors 115 to 113. Lakers just had a solid lead throughout the whole game. Stephen Curry ties it up because he's Stephen Curry. And Austin Reeves puts us in the gutter on a great drive, driving past Andrew Wiggins to win the game.
Yeah.
Pretty great game, in my opinion, all around. I mean, this is like the opposite of the Celtic. This is the opposite of the Knicks T-Wolves game where I came out of it thinking both of them are better than what I thought. I saw this game and I was like, dang, these teams suck. Like I'm gonna be honest, like on both sides. Anthony Davis is obviously hurt, so like this is another thing. Is like that told me a lot about the Warriors. You know, Anthony Davis goes out and you're playing like that on Christmas Day on your home court. You're a bad team, especially when Steph's playing that way. LeBron,
Yeah.
on the other hand, I mean, LeBron's playing well. LeBron's locked in defensively, so like when he like that was another thing in this game. Like LeBron's very clearly locked in defensively in this game, and it really shows me like what LeBron can be at his peak if he's locked in fully. But the rest of the role players show up. They play well. No D'Lo, no AD, no problem. And
Mhm.
I visually I didn't think the Lakers looked great. So like that's kind of where my negativeness about them is coming from. Like I still think
Yeah.
they're like a pretty poor team. But the Warriors look terrible. The Warriors look like inexcusably bad for a game where they are not missing AD and D'Angelo Russell. And it's a game where Steph has 38. Yeah, so pretty startling performances from them to start off the Dennis Schroeder era, frankly. I mean, they're 2-1 with two terrible what 2-1 or no 1-2, 1-3 with two terrible losses in there, one to the T-Wolves or one to the Grizzlies, sorry, and one to the Lakers now. So
Mhm. I mean, how'd you feel about Wiggins?
I mean, I'm always I think Wiggins is back, to be honest. Like I think he's looked great. Obviously it really hurt to see Austin Reeves just run past him to win the game,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I think Williams is really good. Actually, I think he's pretty much back to where he was a few years ago. I think the rest of the league's talent might be better, but I think he has on a performance basis is like back to where he was. Like if I was a Warriors fan, I wouldn't want to trade him, but at this point, it doesn't really matter. Everyone's on the table except for Steph, right? So
I think this after the oh man, it's tough to rank these games, but again, I was gonna say this is the second. I was gonna say this is the best game, but I think this Knicks Spurs was probably the best game due to like hype
yeah, I
and
think so too.
then the Sixer. I mean, this had a better finish than the Sixer Celtics, and also
And
the
I,
big
I mean,
highlight.
don't
But
get me wrong. I mean, it was like the Unks going at it, Steph and LeBron.
yeah,
Like, I'm always gonna love that. You know,
yeah,
like I'm always gonna love it. But yeah,
Christmas.
overall, like it was definitely just in terms of game implications, definitely a little bit like, damn, like both y'all teams not that great.
Yeah,
On the other hand, I watched that game and I'm like, dang, JJ Redick's kind of a pretty good coach.
yeah.
He was very good. Uh,
Shout out JJ Redick. Only one tech.
yeah, I'll even take
Yeah,
Draymond should have got tossed from that game, by the way.
that was crazy.
That
His
I could. He's screaming at the refs after already having a tech.
Yeah, and then his move against like the guy like boxing out at the free throw line was crazy.
Okay, that was funny.
That was so funny. Just grabs them
No,
both.
he complained for like 2 minutes after that. I was
Yeah.
like, "You're hilarious," because they're not allowed to lock arms at the free throw line, but like
But
Draymond's the one who locked arms with them. So
he can lock their arms.
yeah, dude,
No
it's so
catch.
heinous. I yeah, Draymond should have got tossed in that game. Like, did you watch that Spurs Sixers game where Embiid got tossed and then Drummond got tossed and they like flipped the ejection or whatever? And like,
That was wild.
yeah, I thought Embiid totally deserved to get tossed. I think Sixers fans are tripping, but like. He also like he was screaming at the ref, right? Like he deserved to get
Yeah,
tossed. But then if I was a Sixers fan and I watched this Lakers Warriors game, I'm like, how is Draymond still in this game?
right. Yeah,
And fair enough. I mean, Draymond just has a problem. Like, dude, like seriously, like it's insane. Um, and I love
always.
the guy. I mean, we got the same birthday, right? But
Yeah,
dude,
shout
like
out.
I would those I like I don't know that Christmas Day game. Like he played well too. This is like one of those. He played well. He's hitting threes. And I'm
Hmm.
like, man, like shut up. Like seriously, like stop complaining, man. I think that stuff has way more to do with ratings than I think we think. Like some of that stuff is I want to turn off the game. Like sometimes Luca's doing it too. I want to turn off the game, bro.
A lot of guys like that right now. Not a lot, actually, but the Stars need to chill out with that.
Yeah,
Some of the
stars need even LeBron, bro. I love LeBron, but like, yeah, him too.
Tatum,
Um,
he can do that as a Tatum lover. He can definitely do that.
yeah. Uh,
So,
and but don't get me wrong. Overall, I just slandered this game due to complaining. This is a great game. This is the second best game on the docket for sure. It was really interesting. Like as much as I'm roasting the Warriors, it was interesting to see the chess matches. Like how are the Warriors going to get to 110 points? Because I think the Warriors felt pretty good defensively. Like I know the Lakers scored a lot, but like in general on a possession by possession basis, I thought the Warriors were playing well defensively, but in general, I mean, they could not score. It felt like. And they're not
yeah.
playing well enough on defense to not have that scoring.
And there's a lot of yeah, to your point, like there's a lot of inconsistency in terms of where that extra production is going to come from. And right now, we don't know where it is, and that's hard to win in this league without those consistent two, three, four, five, six guys
Yeah.
always showing
Last
up.
thing, last thing on this, Dennis Schroeder since the trade, 4 games, 30 minutes a game, 8 points per game, 8 assists, 4 assists a game. 28% from the field, 23% from three.
Tough if you're trying to flip them.
He's a contract now. I mean,
Yeah,
he's literally just a contract. Um,
see it.
with that, let's move to the next.
Last one. Um, Yeah, final game. Probably the least exciting game of all of these, but still relatively close. The Suns beat the Nuggets. Was this an upset? I'm not sure if this was considered an upset or not. I don't know who had the favorite in this game, but regardless, Suns beat the Nuggets 110 to 100. Um, Not too much of a back and forth game. The Suns were up for actually it was pretty back and forth until like the late third quarter when the Suns managed to start pulling away for good and then just held a consistent lead. But pretty exciting for the most part to wrap up a lovely Christmas game. KD played well. The normal guys played well, besides perhaps like Jamal Murray. And even Russell Westbrook was making an impact. So the Suns are able to maintain some standings despite not having Devin Booker.
Yeah, I thought this was a great game. I mean, I didn't watch it live. I just went back and watched like the fourth and then obviously highlights from there. But pretty interesting chess pieces going on here. I mean, you have Aaron Gordon who's only playing 15 minutes in this game. Which is kind of quirky. Like usually Aaron Gordon is a good matchup for this, but it felt like the Suns really spaced out the floor with no Devin Booker a little bit more.
Mm,
And I mean, obviously they always have Plumlee or Nurkic out there or Oso. They always have one of the three, but um, I mean, Ryan Dunn played 20, Royce O'Neal played 30, Monty Morris played 20. Like they're willing to go smaller against this Nuggets team, which the Nuggets weren't able to react to super well, but I don't know if it's, you know, I don't know if it's that Nuggets weren't able to react super well, but it's also kind of hard for them to score, and if you're gonna put up 110 points against the Nuggets, it's gonna be pretty hard for them to win
yeah.
if we're playing
No.
pretty good defense. Because also to be fair to the Suns, they played very good defense in this game, kind of
Mhm.
respectable. Um, so yeah, uh,
Yeah. I mean, held the Nuggets to 8 total threes.
yeah,
Just not going to
and
win
who,
like that.
and they cannot shoot.
They cannot. They cannot shoot at all. Uh, Aaron Gordon, he did get hurt, I
Oh,
believe,
okay,
at some point during the game, which is why he left it.
okay, that makes sense. I did not know.
But even still, that does not take away from the concerns that they have overall in terms of their size and their shooting.
Yeah, I mean the 3-point shooting is just. I mean Aaron Gordon contributes zero to their 3-point shooting, right? So
Yeah, literally zero.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I mean this is another game where it's like not taking too much out of it.
yeah,
Kind of still impressed with the Suns. Like I hate their front court so much. I hate their center position so much. But like if they could ever figure that out, if they had gotten Eves Misi instead of the Pelicans,
Oh my
like,
Lord.
I would be feeling way more better about the Suns.
Hmm.
Um, but they got Nurkic and Plumlee, and it makes it really difficult. Like that, yeah. I don't know what the flip is. I don't know if they could get like a Valanciunas type, that'd be fun. But I don't even know if that's like worth it at that point.
Right. And at this point, like, how is that going to help your interior defense with Valanciunas? Like, he's a big body, but I don't know.
He's not lanky. He's not switching. Not that they need someone to switch necessarily, but like
He is he's just getting older, so it's tough. Yeah,
I kind of wish they had like a 6'10" center who was like athletic. Like I kind of wish they had like a not Nick Claxton, but like a Noah Clowney, like
sure.
a guy who could play power forward and could play center, and then they would just play him at center. Like I kind of want that on this team.
Miles Turner?
Eh. Everyone
No,
wants Miles Turner.
everybody. The perennial we
Ever,
want
yeah,
gonna get traded. Indie
yeah.
lifer.
No, I mean he can't get traded. I mean he's way too good for he's perfect. I mean he's literally the perfect player for the 3 and D center, right? And like that's why Indy will never trade him. Um, but yeah, anyways, I think overall this Christmas,
It was great Christmas.
pretty elite
Shut
games of basketball.
up.
E-
Yeah.
Every game within 10 points, we get only one game more than a 6 point margin. Can't complain, man. Can't not complain.
LeBron said it best. He loves the NFL, but the NBA is for Christmas.
Yeah, seriously.
Shut up. Um, ready to move on?
Yeah, you want to take us on into your three big things? That was kind of our NBA wrap up. I mean, we talked about the trade rumors with Jimmy, talked about IST, talked about Christmas Day. So
Yeah, so my big three things were just honestly Christmas delight stuff. So we kind of covered the majority of it. I'll do my second two real quick. Just some heroes that we've already talked about. But Wemby, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, Kyrie, Maxey, Caleb Martin, LeBron, Steph, and Austin Reeves, of the players of the games that I watched, played absolutely unbelievable. And
Reeves
then
is terrific. Can I just say, like, Reeves is like so good, man.
I mean, he's a piece, right? He's a huge piece for them. Triple double. Um, yeah,
He
just
he it clearly could be a starter on a championship team, at least,
yeah,
in my
very.
opinion.
He just looks very confident, very poised. LeBron clearly has a lot of trust in him. Looks
As
like
he should.
yeah,
As he should. I mean, Reeves is so much more ball create and like last year after the extension, right? I think he like stalled a tiny bit, but um the ball creation that Reeves can do is truly like impressive to me.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, he can just facilitate an offense. When LeBron was out, Reeves was able to man the ship, take control of the game. So.
And like, don't
Uh,
get me wrong. Like, I don't, if the Lakers trotted into a series against the Thunder where the Thunder could throw Caruso at Reeves all game, like, he's probably getting taken out of the game a little bit. But that's why he's like, he could be the fourth best player on the chip team. That's why he came to the second. But like, I still think he's a great piece. I really think he's fantastic, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. 17, 5 and 4, 5 assists and 4 boards. Can't ask for much more than that at this rate.
Dennis
So
Schroeder
that's
numbers.
used to be
No,
Dennis. It's very true.
yeah.
But other than that, I mean, I had the Sixers, like, just cool to see them finally existing as a team once again, and not being this weird anomaly that is 2-10 or something. Uh, Gives some weird parallels to the Lakers team a couple of years ago that started 2-10 and like managed to claw their way into the plan. So we'll see if that can happen. And also just continues to affirm my Eastern Conference is not terribly, terribly worse than the Western Conference take. So just want to see them keep stacking up wins, but we kind of talked a lot about them.
Yeah,
My big thing was going to be LeBron and Steph. Just super fun. They played now 53 times against each other.
that's
Just
crazy
insane.
stat.
The Steph has won those matchups 29-24. They are 12-12 against each other in regular season games, which is cool. 2-2 against each other in Christmas Day games, also cool. Steph is 17-11 against LeBron in the postseason, and LeBron has the one play-in win. So just really cool. I guess one of the questions that I might have is where does this rank in terms of rivalries? as we look back to the NBA? Is it
Ooh,
top
this is a good, great
three?
question.
Where is this rivalry in comparison to
I
the
don't think
Wilt?
it built. I don't think it beats Wilton Bird or Wilton Russell. I don't think it
Yeah.
beats Magic and Burn.
Yeah. So
But
would it
after
be
that,
who might be better than
I mean, maybe some smaller ones like Bad Boys Pistons against
yeah,
like Jordan, for example, when they were sunning Jordan in the Eastern Conference Finals or in the Eastern
right.
Conference for like a few years, and then Jordan like goes back, obviously. But yeah, it might be
But
top three. It might be third.
yeah, because those other, I mean, this is all you need all these elements in a rivalry.
Hmm.
You need the longevity. Um, you need games played at the highest level with consistency, which they have. 5 playoff matchups, um, 4 finals appearances. You need them to be individually great against both one another and consistently. You need them to be top players in the league for an extended period of time. I think they hit all those marks. Um, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, and they hated each other at one point in time. As much as they like to say buddy buddy now, like they hated each other at one point in time, in my opinion.
yeah,
Um, and
yeah,
they had more playoff. They've also had the most playoff stakes out of any rivalry, probably. I mean,
yeah.
4 straight finals, pretty tough to beat that.
It is impressive. But yeah, that's what I got. Just continuing to be appreciative of the old heads, and hopefully somebody takes this mantle soon because the NBA we're milking the Steph, LeBron, and KD. So
Well,
um,
lucky for you, that is a perfect bridge right into my big three things. Uh, I think we have two people here who are ready to take the mantle, and we saw them both on Christmas Day. I think Wemby and Ant Edwards to me are now in my top 10. Um,
mm,
Usually I'm like pretty aggressive about making barriers to my top 10. You got to prove something to me in the playoffs. Um, but I think Ant, I'm okay being early. This is like the first time for in a while on a top 10 list. I'm okay being early. Ant, I think is this good. Even if he flame like I just again I said this already. I think their team is like that bad. I really think their team struggles, and I think he fixes a lot of their issues in terms of shot creation, in terms of like keying in. He does a lot of facilitating of like, okay, Russell or not Russell, Randall needs the ball for a few possessions here. Like Gobert is about to break the shot, but it's fine because we're down two. If we go down four, we can survive it, but we need Rudy to like stay in the game mentally. And then on the other hand, he's like 20 seconds left on the shot clock. I'm open for three. We're not getting a better shot than this, like and he's really good. He gets to the rack on demand. They don't have really great spacing. They don't have really great shot creation next to him, and he just carries them just defensively, offensively, and they're a good defensive team. But he's
yeah,
really good defensively too. Um, so I think Ant's my top 10. I think he's Jalen better than Jalen Brunson right now. So that's my hot take. I think that's like I think it's a pretty hot take, but I think he's better than Jalen Brunson right now. I think I would rather have him in a vacuum. That because I think Jalen Brunson has some defensive deficiencies, and I think a lot of the scoring for Ant and the 3-point scoring specifically is like a margin that like the facilitating margin between Brunson and Ant is not as big as the just scoring margin between Ant and Brunson. Statistically, it's actually not that big of a margin, but eye test wise, I just if Ant was on the Thunder, he'd be averaging like 31, just like Shea.
mm.
You know,
Imagine if you switch Ant and Jalen Brunson.
I
That
mean, to be honest, which way? Because I think Jalen Brunson has a lot harder time on the T-Wolves than
exactly. What
yeah,
happens with the teams?
exactly. I mean, the thing is, like, you can make I would make the argument that the Knicks might take a step back. I guess it does feel like an interesting fit. Like Jalen Brunson is like the right amount of facilitating for the Knicks team,
Mhm.
um, just because they have so many like cones and McCall and OG and Josh Hart's an energy player. I don't know. Like if a Knicks fan was like, nah, I want Jalen Brunson on my team over Ant, like on your team, maybe. In a vacuum, I think Ant might be better. And I didn't feel that way to start the season.
Uh, I think it's a solid take. I feel like Anthony Edwards kind of did prove this already last postseason, where he brought the Timberwolves
And
to
that's fair.
the Timberwolves actually had their most successful season of all time last year in terms of wins. Yeah, they had one win in the conference finals, and they had never had a win in the conference finals before. Right? I mean, they got gentlemen swept, but
Yeah,
uh,
right.
so I think your take would have been fair to say even last year.
But
Um,
last year we were also coming off a really great Jalen Brunson season. Um,
yeah,
and he was also the reason they made it so far, and obviously they didn't make it to the ECF,
yeah.
um, but I don't know. I don't think the margin's that big, but I think Ant is better than Jalen Brunson right now. My other
I think
guy,
yeah.
sorry,
No,
uh,
go ahead.
my other guy is I think Wemby's better than both of them right now.
Sheesh.
And I know that's a fiery take. Wemby commands the most attention out of like any NBA player that I've seen. Like he's a second year player, bro. And I'm not even actually not keep that out. Wemby is a 7'4" guy who can have 15 rebounds in a game, have 40 points in a game, have 5 blocks in a game, and you have to guard him for that 3-point line. What is that? What even is that? Like what do you do? And that's the thing. Like I think the Knicks, we saw them, he went 6 for 16 from three. If he hits two more threes, they win the game. And the Knicks were doing their damn best to stop him. And they're a good defensive team. One that, in my opinion, actually matches up like Cat against Wemby is actually not that bad of a matchup for Cat, just the way Wemby plays. I don't know. I think Wemby's incredible. I literally think Wemby's unbelievably good.
Mm, um, I don't think that that's too hot of a take. Um, but if you're top 10, unless your team is absolute dog, you got to make the playoffs. So time to
And
make
I
the
think they
playoffs.
will. So this is the thing. I think they will. And I think they'll be pretty poor in the playoffs, to be honest. But I think they'll make the playoffs. Like I'm coming around to this because they're playing really well right now. Like they are eye test wise, this team passes the eye test more than to me than the Warriors. This team passes the eye test to me more than the Lakers at times. And Wemby is literally averaging 25, 11, and 4 with 4 blocks and a steal. He's shooting 36% from three on 10 threes a game. Like I don't know what you do. And he's almost up to 50% from the field. Um, and that's not to mention the fact that he's shooting 90% from free throw. So it's like, what do you do? I don't know what you do. And right now, this iteration of Wemby is, well, first of all, that statistical profile is with a poor start to the season. This iteration of Wemby right now is playing instantly. Like yeah, he's better than Ant, better than Brunson, better than KD for me. I'm struggling to not put him ahead of Steph because I'm a Warriors fan. But like, if you put him ahead of Steph right now, the way Steph had like until Christmas Day, Steph was having a really rough stretch. Like, if you had told me Wemby was better than Steph, like, kind of hard for me to disagree, man. And I think Steph has the pedigree, playoff performance. You always need to see someone in the playoffs. Who knows? Maybe Wemby is the next Joel Embiid when it comes to playoff performances. But I would be skeptical.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. Um, yeah, to your point though, 7-5 in their last 12. The thing is, their wins are against pretty mid teams besides like the Hawks, and their losses are against better teams. Their losses are against the Lakers, Phoenix, Minnesota, Philly, and New York. But also to your point, we saw how much Wemby improved last year as the season progressed. So if there's any indication that history will repeat itself, it might, and we'll see if that continues.
Yeah,
Um,
and also their losses have been close losses. Like that's the thing. Like they're not getting blown out. Like they
yeah,
lost to the Sixers by 5, lost to obviously the Knicks by 3. I think they lost to Minnesota a few weeks back by like 10.
mm,
And like those are good teams, but those are also teams that should beat the Spurs. So
right. Yeah,
on the
that's
other
also
hand.
true.
So I think,
Yeah.
yeah, I think I'm ready to overreact. I'm usually when it comes to these top 10 lists, I'm really like away for the playoffs. I want to see these guys in the playoff circumstance. I think Wemby's that good. I don't think I need to see him in a playoff circumstance. But with that, my current top 10 tier list, my current top 10 list, including tiers, is the following. Tier one, Jokic, Luka, Giannis. Tier two, Shea, Tatum, Steph. Tier three, Wemby, Ant, KD, Brunson. I think that's my top 10 right now. Um, and from there, the other guys rounding out the top 15 for me are AD, Booker, LeBron, D, Mitch, and Ja. But that's kind of my top 10, and I'm pretty comfortable with it right now.
Mm. Um, yeah, I think KD, Brunson,
Yeah, you can
Steph,
rank them. Steph, Wemby, like, all those guys. I'm cool ranking them wherever. I don't mind too much.
right? I think that can kind of swirl a little bit.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree.
but that's an interesting top 15. I think that's,
No, no Embiid for me right now. Can't do
oh
it.
yeah. Well, he has to play.
Yeah, I can't do it. I literally can't do it. When he plays, how much does he even play? Like he's getting ejected, or he's I don't know. And so I do need to see more from Embiid for me to take the Sixers seriously as a playoff team, obviously. But like that's my top 10, 15 list. But Embiid could obviously sneak back in whenever. Whenever Embiid wants, whenever he himself wants to play basketball, he can sneak back in.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. My nitpick and just put Giannis ahead of Luca because of
I'm
his.
okay with it. I'm totally okay with it.
Um, I think the Tatum and Shea tier is pretty sound. I don't know if I'd have Steph on that same tier at the moment. Not to say that in a playoff series I would be terrified of him, but yeah, I mean I think that's pretty solid. I don't really have too much to debate against that,
And
honestly.
and if you don't want to react this aggressively to Wemby or Ant, like I get it. I really think this is good. Like because I'm also usually the person who's like, let me see. Like Brunson, I didn't want to say Brunson was top 10 player until he's like hard carrying the Knicks, like
Right.
until this to the second round. Like I was really like, wait. Um, Usually I'm like the wait type guy, but I really just think they're that good. So that's
Mm,
my first point. And then parlaying off that,
mhm.
here are my list of contenders. I think there's four true contenders. I think there's four potential contenders, and there's a big gap after this.
Okay.
My four true contenders, the Mavericks, Celtics, Knicks, and Thunder. My potential contenders, this is if stuff goes well, whether that be injuries with other teams, whether that be, player development, whether that good matchups. List of
Mhm.
potential contenders are Magic, Bucks, Nuggets, T-Wolves. I think there's a really big gap after those eight teams. I would be pretty shocked to see a team outside of those eight winning a chip.
Wow. Um, I
Am
mean
I am I leaving someone off?
the Cavs,
I'm cooling off. I'm cooling off.
26-4 Cavs.
Yeah, I'm cool. They've done nothing to go. So this is the thing. They've done nothing for me to cool off on them. I mean, they're 9-1 and whatnot.
Yeah.
I Maybe I'm psyching myself out. I keep thinking about the previous playoff series, and I keep looking at the talent in the East. And like you were saying before, like the talent gaps are closening between the East and the West, and I just wonder if matchup are they going to beat the Knicks? Like they're 28 and 6, or they're 26 and 4, and I don't know if they'd beat the Knicks in a playoff series.
I think they could.
I think they totally could. So maybe they're a potential contender.
Just in terms of like the drop off. Like I
They
think
have to. You're right. They
they
totally should
they
be.
did just beat the Magic. Um in
Oh,
seven.
Magic are rocking out with no one, to be fair. But
Very true. I mean they just sorry. They did just beat the Magic in the playoffs last year.
oh
Uh,
yeah, sorry.
gotta
Um,
give it. But
I'll add them to the list of potential contenders. This is a good call by you. This is totally a good call.
when
I shouldn't have cooled off that much on them.
when you say potential contenders, are we saying to make the finals or are we saying to win a championship?
Win a championship. Like could if everything went right, could this team win a championship? Like could is doing a lot in that sentence, right? Because like, yeah, like if the Lakers got Zach LaVine, maybe they could win a chip, but they're not going to get Zach LaVine. So it's like that's what I'm saying potential. And like basically, do you have above a 2% chance to win a chip?
Okay. All right. Fair.
Yeah.
I mean, looking at the other teams that are an option, the Rockets got to see them make the playoffs. I mean, they're firmly in second place, firmly in the top three, but they got to make the playoffs. Grizzlies have
Yeah.
been out for a while. Can they come back and make some noise?
They
I do.
could. They see that was the team I was struggling with, the Grizzlies.
Um, to your point, I guess the question that I would have is like, who is a midseason trade away from being in that echelon that you're describing? And I think the Grizzlies would be a squad. Um,
Honestly, I don't know who else.
who
It would
knows?
have to be a mid-season trade and everything goes right.
Right. And Denver, you just kind of taking that off of the back of Jokic, just having a LeBron mid 2010s LeBron type of carrying them.
Yeah. And I mean, to be fair, the core of this team is not too different from a team that won chip 3 years ago. If you get if you get playoff Aaron Gordon and playoff Jamal Murray,
Yeah,
big ifs. I can't really put them outside of the potential contenders. They're definitely not true contenders to me, though, for sure.
right.
And
No,
I don't really see a trade. I don't see a trade fixing their stuff like that. I really think the Nuggets would need like just like internal player development continued,
right.
which we're kind
Uh,
of seeing with Christian Brown, obviously. Great season out of him so far, but more of that.
right. Um, huh. Well, yeah, I think this is a pretty solid list. I have a quick on this note of teams and contenders. A team that was trying to be a contender this year that I feel like I had some strength around, the Kings, going to the ESPN to see the news of the standings, just announced uh, Kings have fired their head coach Mike Brown. They completely
What?
they have blown many games in the clutch this year, but the Kings have fired Mike Brown
Oh my God. Just now?
just now, as of 5 o'clock at Eastern time. So
Wow. That just blew my mind. That really just blew my mind. I guess we have to react to that. Really quick thoughts. They're a top 10 offense. They also have two of the best defensive on-ball defensive players according to advanced stats this year in the NBA. Both Fox and Keegan have been incredibly good defensively on ball. But still, this is like one of the worst teams in the West. I don't think it's their fault. I think it's a West thing, not them thing.
there was something about their win percentage in the clutch. And if
Hmm.
we look at their win percentage in 3-point games, they're 2-6. Um, that might have something to do with it. They are on a 5-game losing streak. I think DeRozan has kind of slowed down a little bit, which is concerns about their development. And Keegan Murray has been shooting atrociously. Um, to your point, how much does this have to do with Mike Brown versus the front office bringing in DeRozan, who might not have been the best fit? Don't know, but yeah, pretty wild.
Yeah, that just blew my mind. That just really blew my mind, man. He ran a practice. They ended practice 10 minutes ago.
They ended.
They ended a live practice like 10 minutes ago. Like not 10 minutes ago, but like he finished his post-practice interview. Like let me get actually perfect. Let me get correct time slots. 44 minutes ago is when he wrapped up his post-game press conference and then was
Wow,
fired like 42 minutes ago. So
holy cow!
he basically ended up he ended his post-practice press conference when he got fired.
No
One of
wonder.
the last questions he was asked by this is a fun thing. One of the last questions he was asked by one of my favorite reporters. His name is Matt George from the Sacramento. He works for ABC 10 out there. And I've been like a diehard follower of him. Definitely a fiery reporter, but really fun beat reporter for the Kings. And one of his last questions he ever asked was Mike Brown, like, do you feel like your skill players and leadership players are extension of your voice on the court? And he's basically like, I'm not sure. Like they need to take a little bit more accountability sometimes, but that's
Mm,
what we're working towards pretty much. And maybe that's the move to fire him. I mean, if you've lost your players, you've lost your players. But
right.
wow, I really think
Crazy, right?
first thought is that they did him pretty dirty. I don't
Yeah.
love. I don't really think this was his fault. Yeah, it's one of yeah. You,
Hmm.
hmm. This is like the thing is like why fire him? Like what are you where are we going now? Is someone else really coming in and fixing the Kings?
Right.
Why
Yeah.
not just stay the course with the guy who's just instilling defense into an offensive first team?
Yeah. Could they not show that they could turn it around? Guess we'll see.
I'm so
Curious to see more
fascinated.
about it.
That do you think there's a De'Aaron Fox freak out? Do you think back or like do you think the Kings are freaking out about De'Aaron Fox?
Is this a move to appease De'Aaron Fox being the question?
Yeah, I mean he's turning down the extension. He's refusing to extend, and his contract expires at the end of next year, from what I understand.
Ooh, D Fox sweepstakes over the offseason.
Under Armour. He's on the Curry brand. Come on.
That's crazy. De'Aaron
Okay,
Fox is not your savior. He is not your savior.
okay, Kendrick.
Um,
I'm so fascinated by this. I mean, I guess we'll get into this more in upcoming pods, but I am like pretty shocked. Yeah.
Mike Brown's a good coach.
Aaron's a very good coach.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, this is a guy who's getting 20 points per game out of Trey Lyles every other day. Like, I don't know how.
Right, 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 right. No, yeah, I mean, their talent is also weird, just a weird fit. Not sure. That's crazy.
That's great. That's great live breaking news. I mean, oh man, I'm so bewildered by this. I mean, look, they have a top 10 offense. They have three scorers averaging 20 or more points per game, and they're 6
Yeah,
and 12 at home. How does this make
that's crazy.
sense? So and maybe the management just looked at all that and they're like, we need to change. And huh,
Yeah,
huh,
very
fascinating.
interesting.
I
Wow.
can't reason firing a coach due to Western Conference standings in this West. That's the issue. Like if it's due to performance, if it's due to him losing the locker room, I don't, obviously I don't know about that.
Right.
But
What the fuck?
I can't reason firing a coach just because you go on a 5 game losing streak in the Western Conference, you know?
Right, 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 right. Does this happen to? That's crazy.
Like the Warriors went on like a 12 game losing streak.
I wonder if he knew before.
I wonder.
Yeah.
That I really wonder. I mean, dude, and then dude, they also used their first round pick this year on Devin Carter, who hasn't played at all. It's like, why are you using your first round picks if you're going in on DeRozan? Weird stuff going out there in Sacramento, man. They should have
Classic.
got. They need to get Kuzma. They really like DeRozan is a better player than Kuzma, but this fit has been weird, man.
Mhm. It's classic GM makes a move and then blames it on the coach.
Got to.
Yeah.
I mean, GM's next in line. If De'Aaron Fox wants out, GM's gonna have to figure something out. With that. Um, I had a bonus thought just about Reggie Evans really quick.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This is just really quick. Uh, do you think he has more or less value in today's NBA? For those of you who don't know Reggie Evans, this is basically a guy who couldn't shoot the ball, couldn't play defense, couldn't do anything, but he was 6'10" and was basically had one of the craziest rebounding rates in the NBA. Played kind of for a variety of teams as a power forward. This is like a different generation of player, right? Power forward, second big, who could not shoot from basically 2002 to 2015. On multiple occasions, his stat lines are really funny if you want to go check basketball reference, but like he'll average 10, 12 rebounds a game and he'll play like 22 minutes a game for that whole season. Just an absolute rebounding monster. And I was watching Al Jefferson talk about how Ennis Cantor, if you're watching this, like I'm down to roast you. Like I don't really care. Um, uh, that Ennis Cantor was just shaking his boots every time Reggie Evans would come to town because he knew he was going to get sunned by Reggie Evans. So with that, do you think Reggie Evans could fit? Do you think there's a mold for that player? And kind of my examples, like kind of Day'Ron Sharp. Day'Ron Sharp needs to develop a little bit more. But we talk about there can't really be specialists in today's NBA. But if someone is going to come in and like average 18 rebounds a game, that could really change a lot.
You know who you have me thinking of actually? Because in the some of the seasons where he put up crazy rebounding numbers, he averaged more than two, 2.5 offensive rebounds per game, many seasons.
Yeah.
I'm actually thinking of Kevon Looney in the Golden State Kings series.
Huh. That's really great. That's actually a really great equivalency. Um,
Um, so yes, right? Like if you have obviously he has to be, the fifth, fourth fifth best player on a championship team with an amazing facilitator, so he can be somewhat involved in the offense and just
And some
have
extreme spacing for sure.
right.
You need, yeah,
But is it possible? I mean, for sure, for sure.
I'm with
Um,
that. I mean, I will say Kevon Looney in that Kings series averaged 5 assists a game if I remember correctly, which is
that's
crazy fun fact. It's just crazy. Like he had just generational series from him. I'm with that. Actually, I really like that. I think in a playoff circumstance, a guy like that is just probably a pain. Like he's probably getting like if you deploy Reggie Evans against Nikola Jokic, like Jokic might have 40, but Jokic is also gassed by the third quarter.
right.
Like, huh, kind of like it. Reggie Evans is also not that tall, so like this is another thing. It's not like Reggie Evans like 6'2" inhaling all these boards. Like he's just pure hustle. So
Right.
yeah, and he'd be the single best rebounder in the league like he was back then, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think there is a place for this type of player. And I think Doc Rivers, the what also got me thinking about this, Doc Rivers talking about how no one can be a specialist, or also Mike Malone has been talking about this for the years. Like you can't be a specialist in today's NBA. I wonder if that's true. I wonder if that's true.
I mean, there's definitely exceptions to the rule. It feels like it's less so than it used to be. I mean, feels like the necessary requirements of being a 3-and-D player, if you're not a star, are
Mhm.
very important. But maybe that specialist is another option if you're not a star.
That's fair. I think that's a good way to put it too. Because I think in backman in the NBA, you could just be a 3-point shooter full. You could be Doug McDermott and play
Right.
25 minutes a game. Like now you can't. You'd rather a guy shooting 5% less from three and playing way better defense, which you'll find.
Right. Yeah. Oh, that's a good thought experiment.
Yeah,
Reggie Evans.
that's my big three things. Reggie Evans, and then who's legit, what teams, and what players. So yeah.
Word. Love it. Um, all right. Well, Max, I got a quiz for you. I'm going to give you two options. This is 3-point shooting. You can go with makes or attempts. Who would you like to go in the direction of?
Oh, let's do makes.
Makes. This is makes per game, mind you. Um, okay. Woohoo. I would not ask a typical casual fan because this might take a while, but I will ask you. There are 24 players in the NBA this season that are averaging three made 3-pointers per game. And let's see if you can get them. You do not have
Three.
to get them in order.
Okay, three made.
Three made.
All right. I need to write these.
Yeah.
This season, three made threes a game. Let's say Peyton Pritchard,
Peyton Pritchard is number 10.
Derek White,
Number 11.
Steph Curry,
Steph Curry is number 2.
and Edwards.
And Edwards is number 3.
Wemby.
Wembus is number 16.
So it's five off the rip.
Mhm. Killing it.
Luca.
Luca
Oh,
is
no.
not.
No.
No, 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 no. I didn't see him. He's 14th. You're good.
All right, perfect. I was
Right.
like, God. Because three made three is like a weird one where like you could shoot a high percentage, but like I don't know if like I'm not sure if Devin Booker's on this list. KD.
KD, I don't believe he's played enough games. No, we know yet. No, no. And this is where it's tough because he's at 2.5. So he's out of it.
Damn. He's only at 2.5. Okay, all right, that's one of this. That
And
that
I'm
kind of
sorry.
informs that kind of informs where I'm at though.
Yeah.
Um, all right, who is just an absolute shock chucker? All right, Dame.
Dame is uh 13th on this list.
Okay. James Harden.
James Harden is 28th.
Oh,
Just
dude.
out.
Just that. Okay. Um, damn, three threes is specific. That's a really specific number. I'm like blanking on like these middle, like LaMelo.
LaMelo's number 1.
Okay, there we go. So right now I got Wemby, Pritchard, Derek White, Curry, and Luca, Dame, LaMelo. That's eight.
Yep.
Tyler Hero.
Tyler's number 4.
A great season, by the way, from him.
Oh yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we'll talk about him soon.
Yeah. This is tough. Klay Thompson?
What's
I
up?
don't.
Yep. Klay
Okay.
Thompson, 20, 3.1.
I was like, he doesn't shoot anything else than threes. The thing is, I'm blanking on like obvious guys, so I'm like trying to like really like
Mm-hmm.
lock in. Norm Powell?
Norm Powell, number 8.
Nice. Take that. Just dude, three threes. What a specific stat. Actually this is electric. I'm loving this.
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell,
D. Mitch, 9th.
elite. All right, Tatum. Screw it. I'm
Tatum,
down to be wrong. All right, cool. I couldn't remember like what his rate of like 3 point attempts was. Um, it's like Jokic should be on this list, but he's probably not.
right.
Let's go with let's go with Shea.
Shea is not on this
Dang,
list. And not only is he not on this list,
not close.
he is 61st.
Jesus, my midi king, bruh.
He is a midi king.
Dude, this is kind of killing me, man.
It's tough.
Cam Johnson,
And Johnson, 17th.
Towns.
Actually, no.
Oh, really? I
Surprise.
literally,
He's very surprisingly not.
damn,
Uh,
that's crazy to me.
Towns is 58th.
Dude, he's not shooting that many threes this year. He's actually this is his lowest 3 point attempts of the last 6 years, LOL, on a per game basis. He's actually he's actually hitting a lot of them. He's just not shooting a lot of them.
Right.
Um, God damn. Okay, wait. So look. Okay. I need to slow down for a bit. Wemby, Pritchard, Derek White, Curry, Ant, Luca, Dame, LaMelo, Tyler Hero, Clay, Norm Powell, D. Mitch, Tatum, Cam Johnson. God damn. I'm missing like some obvious ones too, which is like gonna destroy me. Michael Porter Jr.
Michael Porter Jr. is 51st.
Dude, they're cooked. This is cooked.
Do you want me to
MPJ.
tell you the places that you're missing?
Yeah, you can move some
All
places.
right. You're missing 24th, 23rd, 22nd, 21st, 19th, 18th,
Of course.
15th, 12th, and 6th and 7th.
6 and 7. Damn, I might be cooked on this one. I'm like really like blanking completely because like I'd
This
love to
isn't very
say
right.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
specific. I'd love to say Jalen Brunson, but it takes too many middies. Like I can't like guess that.
Right.
Oh,
I had to give you a tough one.
yeah, this is a good one. I mean, even attempts would have been hard, honestly. Um,
You gave me the attempts one last year,
really?
and it was really tough. And there was a player on it, the only guy I didn't get, who's number 6 on this list this season. Um,
All right,
but also there were way better players.
all right. Now I'm starting to get back in my bag. Trey Young.
I don't know. He's 30th.
Oh,
He doesn't average 3.
all right. Now I'm just firing off my guesses, bro. I'm gonna be honest. I'm mind blown at this.
And son,
Uh, Cade? Probably not.
I like the thinking, but it's not Cade, who's
Uh,
45th.
See, they're all so close. Okay, Maxi.
Maxi.
Okay.
Yep. Maxi is 18th.
I knew one of those guards was just gonna have chucked up enough shots.
Mm.
Um, three made threes a game, bro. Jordan Poole.
Cool. Is 12th.
He's been amazing this year too. I would love to see him traded to a contender. He just makes too much money, so it won't happen. Desmond Bain.
Baines had a pretty down year,
Yeah,
actually.
he's had a rough year, so I'm just guessing, but
Yeah, no, he's
no.
not on this.
Um, damn. All right, Booker Beal.
Booker Beal, no
Damn.
Suns.
Dude, I'm cooked, bro. This is crazy.
Is nuts. But
Because
your
the
Eastern
thing is,
guard,
I'm missing like the special. I'm just blanking on what special is like. I don't think AJ Green I don't think AJ Green for the Bucks is making three threes a game, but he's taking like six. So I'm like really blanking on that role player. Anthony Simons, maybe. I
Nope.
don't even know.
Tough.
Yeah, I'm pretty cooked, bro. You got me on the rest of the names.
Yes, sir. We'll work backwards up. 24th Halliburton.
Yeah,
20,
that was the person I was gonna guess after the maxing them, but I kind of off track.
23rd Garland. 22nd, your man Buddy Hield.
Really?
Yeah. 3.1. 21st, Kyrie.
Yeah, I should have guessed that too.
You got Clay. 19th was Kobe White, which you could have got hit or miss. 15th, I feel like you should have got Zach LaVine.
Ah, yeah, definitely.
Um, and then 7th, I feel like you probably should have got this guy, Brandon Miller, but that's a tough one. Because he is also putting up 11 threes per game and making 3.9. And then finally, the guy that you got me with last year, Malik Beasley. Number
Oh,
2
no
on the list,
way.
averaging 3.9 made threes a game, shooting
No
40.
way.
So,
Leak. How are you gonna do this to me, dude? Damn, that's actually good. Dude, I should okay. Off the top of my head, Halliburton, Levine, no excuse for not getting. Kyrie, I was thinking Kyrie on the Luka stuff. I just psyched myself out with the middies.
mm,
And then yeah, Brandon Miller. I've watched too much Hornets to not know Brandon Miller. I will say though,
but that was pretty good.
that I might have just outed myself for needing to go watch more Cleveland games because Garland. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
I just took a look at his stats. I literally, when you told me he was on the list, I was like, oh.
shooting well. Yeah.
Um,
All right. Good stuff, though.
with
Pretty impressive.
that,
Yeah.
is there anything else you want to get to? I think that.
Oh,
Sorry, I just looked at Garland's stats by the way. For any of our viewers watching, Garland, 20 points per game, 45% from three, 7 attempts, three makes. He's really on that limit, but shout out. It's
yeah.
phenomenal.
Killing it.
He's
Uh,
cooking. But yeah, that's it. That's kind of all I got. I'm gonna try to do better on the next quiz. I'm gonna go back to the drawing board and really reevaluate. But
hey, man, that was pretty impressive. I don't think most people are getting however many of those you got, like 17 out of 24 of the top 3-point makers in this league.
I'm pretty down bad. I'm not gonna lie. I should have. I'm not gonna lie. Some of my Trey not being on there is blowing my.
Well, exactly. That just goes to show. Um,
Yeah, fair enough. With that, I think that about rounds up our. This will be a cool hour and a half pod at least, honestly. Of
sure.
IST roundups, of Christmas Day roundups. Is there anything else you want to get to before we head out and before I go enjoy my Warriors Suns game tomorrow night?
Oh, man. Go enjoy the game. Just looking forward to as the season progresses. Cannot wait to see. Now we kind of wait for this All-Star stretch. This is the doldrums of the season, so we'll try to have a lot of fun stuff for you guys ready. So we'll be watching the league. We hope you are too, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Until then, as always, we'll be here spitting hoops. Holla at you.
Peace out.